Good day, everyone. Welcome to today's live. Going to give people a chance to hop in. Today, what are we? We are Wednesday, August 14th. Summer's flying by. Hopefully, you are still purchasing real estate. It's actually my mom's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to mom. I know your birthday's tomorrow, but I won't be going live tomorrow, so I wanted to give you a shout out. So as you're coming in, make sure to give me a hello so I know that you're there. Today we're going to be talking about different types of creative financing that Mel and I utilize, different types of ways of purchasing assets. So let me know you're here in the chat, and I definitely want to have it open for Q&A if you have any questions as well. Do not be shy. Put your questions in the chat. But yeah. So I want to start off with an agreement for sale deal that one of our one-on-one members did. So one of our one-on-one members purchased an agreement for sale deal in Edmonton, Alberta. She did so with less than $30,000, right? The down payment, the downstroke was less than $30K. I have an internet issues here. No, I'm not. And she's able to not. Oh, someone said they can't see me. Can you see me? I want to make sure I'm live here. There we go. Someone let me know. Put in the chat. Dave, can you see me? Yes or no? Give me a yes if you can see me and a no if you can, or if you can hear and see me. The team just said, I guess I might not be live on all social media platforms, which again, it is what it is. But yeah, so agreement for sale in Edmonton, Alberta, and basically agreement for sale, and I'll hop into the details as well. So agreement for sale is when you actually take possession and control of an asset. Okay, so if you're in the U.S., it's not sub 2, right? We can't do sub 2 in Canada. It's more like a wrap mortgage, right? And the difference is, you're saying, well, Dave, what's the difference? What are all these things you just said to me? So a sub 2 is when there's still a mortgage on the property and you actually change ownership, right, on the deed or the title. In Canada, you cannot do that. If there is a mortgage registered against the property, right, on title or deed, or there's a security, you cannot change the ownership. In the U.S., it's different. That's sub 2. That's a whole other ball of wax. I'm not going to touch that one right now. So let's talk about agreement for sale. So in Canada, AFS, agreement for sale, or wrap mortgages in the US, kind of the same difference, in my opinion. Okay, so this deal is an agreement for sale, and literally what it ends up being is the current owner of the asset, for whatever reason, doesn't want to control the asset anymore. Okay, so they don't want to control the asset anymore, but they don't necessarily want to sell it. All right. So for whatever reason, like, so for example, let's say someone moves out of the city. They no longer want the asset, but they don't want to incur, I don't know, let's make it up. They don't want to incur breaking a mortgage. They're like, hey, I've got 2 years left on this mortgage and I don't want to pay the penalty. So they might want to do an agreement for sale, right? Or it's, I don't know, let's use in Canada. For example, right now, let's say if it's a secondary dwelling, like let's say they bought a house somewhere else and now they're selling this one. Well, capital gains is only exempt on your principal residence, right? So let's say if they did sell this one at this point with the capital gains in Canada right now, the inclusion rate is now 67%. So if someone thought, oh, I was going to sell, but now it's gone from 50% inclusion rate to 67%. And they might be thinking, you know what, I want to wait till maybe there's a change of government, maybe till they retract this change. So maybe I'll do an agreement for sale, and I won't sell, but I'll let someone else control it for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then hopefully they bring it back to 50. That might be another reason, right, for capital gains and succession planning. So there's a lot of different scenarios and a lot of different reasons people will do this, which is cool for us investors, right? Same thing with seller financing. When we do seller financing deals, people will always say, like, why would someone do that? Why would someone actually hold a mortgage for you? Why would someone provide, seller financing or creative financing for you? It's very simple. it benefits them. That is the number one reason, is because it benefits them. Actually, you know what? Before I forget, team, put the link here. We're actually, I'll be doing a webinar at the same point tomorrow. I'll be doing a live talking about 4 different types of creative financing. Team, if you put the link here, please, if people are interested, put the link. Even if you can't watch it tomorrow, you actually get our free ebook, which is an Amazon bestseller. If you subscribe to the live tomorrow, might as well get a free ebook, right? Right. And this is the one that Mel and I wrote after the car crash that became an Amazon bestseller. We actually have, Mel has 3 books. I've got 2, but, so yeah, don't be shy. So people hold seller financing or do creative financing because it benefits them. It's very, very simple. So in this particular deal that Anita, one of our one-on-one members, why she bought this asset, she's benefiting. She did not have to qualify for any of the, right, because it's agreement for sale. There was no qualifying for the actual financing, which is basically, and DM us the word live for the webinar. So DM us the word live. Someone, if the team can put that in the chat. So she didn't have to qualify for financing. She had to come up with a down payment of less than, I think, $30,000. And now she controls the asset and rents it out. It's beautiful. We actually have a YouTube video releasing tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Friday? And this is the important thing. If you're not following us on YouTube now, we just hit 57,000 followers or subscribers, and we're releasing the video some point this week. I forget if it's Thursday or Friday, but if you're subscribed, we release one every single week. Okay. And you can go check out last week's, where it's a walkthrough of Mel and I's agreement for sale deal in Edmonton. But yeah, people do it because it benefits them. So when Anita got into this deal, the seller, right, does not have to pay capital gains because they did not sell the asset. So for whatever reason, let's say if they didn't want to pay capital gains this year, let's say they sold another asset and they were already paying capital gains on it, and they thought, you know what, I've had sellers do this before, where they liquidate a few assets and they're hit hard by taxes, and they think, you know what, I want to liquidate, or at least not have to take care of any other assets. I want to hand over the keys and the the responsibility to someone else. Agreement for sale is a way of doing so without them actually incurring any capital gains, because there's been no sale that takes place. Okay, so I want you guys to wrap your head around that. So the seller does not incur capital gains at the point when they enter into an agreement for sale, because there is no sale. The asset has not actually transferred ownership. The title, the deed, ownership, and all that has not actually changed. And team, put the link for the live webinar as well. Yeah, so none of that has actually changed. Okay, so that's why they don't incur capital gains. And then the beauty of it for the buyer is because the mortgage and all that has not actually changed, there's no financing. There's no pre-qualifying or no qualifying for the financing. So that is the beauty about agreement for sale. Someone messaged me here. Has anyone here ever done an agreement for sale deal? I'm curious. Or someone interested in agreement for sale? I'm always curious to see. Put in the chat. Have you done one? Are you interested in it? Are you still kind of, foggy on what exactly it is? Hey, Sohail. How's it going? So yeah, I'll wait for those responses. I'm just messaging the team. I want that link. And if you're watching this live, cool, DM us the word live, or after the fact, DM us the word live. Or if you're watching this after, right, because this is going to be recorded, just message us and we can always get you up and running on different things. So a question that I get a lot on, because again, we posted the video last week and we've been talking about on social media, the agreement for sale deal. Some people have, I shouldn't even just say agreement for sale deals. Just in real estate investing generally, a lot of people will have some fears, right? There it is. Let me just share the link here. Boom. Okay, there's the link, guys. If you want to come on live with me tomorrow, I'm going to be going live. I'm going to be going live for about over an hour tomorrow, and literally, we are going to be analyzing probably 4 to 5 deals. Yeah, I think there's 4 in North America, right? Canada and the US. And then there's a 5th one that's a flip that we did in Costa Rica. So if you're interested in that, yeah, sign up for the webinar. We'll be going live tomorrow. You get our ebook as well. So some of the fears that I see around real estate investing, and guys, if you're on the live here, if you have fears, like what are your fears? What worries you about real estate investing? Put it in the chat because I want you to see that a lot of people have a lot of the same fears. So again, don't be shy. Put it like what's stopping you from buying, your first or your next piece of real estate, your first or your next asset that you want to rent out, or even if it's your own place, you want a house hack, right? You want to live in one unit and rent out the other. So what exactly is that biggest thing that you're worried about? So I'm seeing here money. Okay, so down payment, knowledge, yeah, resources, fear of making a mistake. Okay, so look at the ones that we already have. So money, right? People are always like, "Hey, Dave, I don't have enough money to get started," or "I don't have $100,000 for a down payment," or even if I do, I only have one, and then I got to save up for another 10 years to get that amount down again. So money and funds, Mel and I notice, is always one of the biggest factors that people, or one of the biggest roadblocks that people have when they're trying to get started out in the real estate world, right? Real estate investing. So money is a very, very common one. And that is why Mel and I, so if you're thinking, hey, I don't have the money to do this, I can't afford it, I can't save up enough down payment money, that is a very, very common thing. And that's why Mel and I have the Action Family Mentoring Program, because that's where we're able to help people. Because at the end of the day, guys, Mel and I went through the exact same struggle, right? So if you're saying, Dave, I don't have any money, or I don't have as much savings as I need for a down payment on a property, we've been there. And that's why we utilize creative financing in other people's money, such as the agreement for sale that we were talking about today, right? Another common thing, like Megasonic Mike just wrote, I can't qualify for any more credit. Boom. This is something that happens. So Megasonic Mike, thank you for sharing that as well. This is something that's very common as well, especially when people are buying assets in their own names. Okay. So for example, Mel and I, we invest in 5 countries, right? Canada, US, Costa Rica, Mexico, Dominican Republic. None of those assets are in our personal names. Everything is in an LLC or a corporation, depending on which country it's in. Okay. Why do we do that? Other than succession planning, leaving the portfolio to our kids. Think about that. Wouldn't you love to leave a portfolio to your kids? Or even if you don't have kids, or your kids are older and they're not interested, like think about having a portfolio that you can leave to your kids, your family, your church, whatever group you want, whatever organization you want to leave it to. Think of how powerful that would be and how good that would make you feel, right? So to go back to what Megasonic Mike is saying here is, I love the name, by the way, Megasonic Mike. Anyway, sorry, my squirrel brain sidetracked there. What is important here is when you purchase in your own name, and when someone says you don't qualify anymore, or you can't get more credit, it's typically because they're looking at you personally. They're looking at you purchasing the asset in your personal name, and they're running what is called the TDSR or the TDI. So total debt service ratio, meaning they look at how much income you are bringing in from either your T4 job in Canada, your W2 job in the US, your 1099 self-employment in the US, or just being self-employed, sole proprietorship in Canada. They're looking at that. They're going, here's what you're bringing in. Here's your expenses, your rent, your mortgage, your car payments, your credit card, your whatever it is. And they're saying you don't qualify anymore. Mel and I hit that roadblock. We had 5 properties at one point, all cash flowing, all debt servicing amazingly. And they said, you don't qualify anymore. And that's what pushed us into creative financing. So the beauty of having your assets in entities, so let's say LLCs in the US or corporations in Canada, is they don't show up. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. In my experience, in my portfolio, when I say my, Mel and I, 99.99% of the assets that we have purchased in entities has not showed up on our personal credit. So there's no more, you don't qualify. It's buying it in a LLC or a corporation, and then having asset-based lenders or equity-based lenders look at the actual deal and financing the deal. So Megasonic Mike, 100%, man. Scuba Stone, yeah, can you explain what it is? Okay, yes, the agreement for sale. I will hop back in it as we have new people. And anyone that's watching, again, I put the link here as well. DM us the word live, okay, Live, if you didn't know how to spell it, because tomorrow I'm going to be doing a webinar. You have to register for it. You get our free ebook, right? If you register, you get Melani's Amazon bestselling ebook as well. Invest stuck in a deal you don't like. Ooh. Okay, Invest US, is that a deal you did with a joint venture, or is it a deal you did on your own? If you can elaborate, please. Champ, I always hear you don't need much. Well, and see, I hear the opposite. I hear people always saying I have to come up with such a lot of money, a lot of downstroke, a lot of that, and that's exactly what we teach, right? Is how to raise other funds. So again, I'm even if you have money, that's fine. Let's say you're like Dave, because I'll have people that come to us. Some of our one-on-one members as well, they have money and they want to utilize it. And the whole important thing is, okay, let's say you do utilize your own funds to get into a deal. How are we getting that money out? Which is important, right? So that we can do it again and again, rinse and repeat. What else? HELOC for first rental. Okay, Blake Littlejohn is having a hard time with the HELOC for the first rental. So again, okay, so you're looking at getting your own, and everyone, just so they understand what a HELOC is, it's a home equity line of credit. So it's basically taking, and I actually have a video. You know what? I've got multiple videos on this. If you're not on our YouTube page, definitely subscribe. I literally have 3 videos around this. I have what is a HELOC, pros and cons, right? Or good and bad. I have what is a refinance, good and bad. And then I literally have HELOC versus refi, which one is best and what things to look for. So Blake, definitely go check that out, or anyone, go check out that video on YouTube. Where'd it go? We're at 3 units. We should still incorporate. Ooh, okay. So that's a good question. This is something that comes up all the time in our Action Family Mentoring Program. Is something, should I put my assets under a corporation if I'm in Canada, or an LLC if I'm in the US? And there's no 100% yes or 100% no. And what I mean by that, guys, is, first off, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an accountant. Let's get that out of the way. Okay. There's no legal or accounting or whatever advice coming from me. I'm just talking about my experience. I like talking to the lawyers and the attorneys and the accountants and the CPAs and giving them, here's what I want to do. Here's my thought process. Here's what my goals are. And then I have them have a conversation, and literally they need to marry up and say, okay, well, legal, because sometimes the lawyers and the attorneys will want something or not want something that the accountants are saying, no, for accounting purposes, we need this, or it makes so much more sense. Right. So it's like taking 2 different brains, right? So one is legal, strictly legal, making sure to cover your, what, and then the other one's accounting, making sure that you're keeping as much money possibly and thinking down the road, if you want to do X, Y, Z, that you're able to do so. So you're literally taking those 2 fields, putting them together, and then having a conversation. So in regards to, should it be incorporated or not? Thank you, Megasonic. Love you both, by the way. Thank you. Very inspiring content. Okay, love it. I think we're over 800,000 followers on all social media platforms combined. I can't wait to hit a mill. So I appreciate you saying that, Megasonic. Mel and I try and put a lot of comment out. Our YouTube page is growing very rapidly. I can't wait to hit 100,000 and get that YouTube plaque. It's going to go right on the wall right here, I think. Or maybe it's going to go in Mel's studio. We'll see who wins that battle. But anyway, so I appreciate that. That helps motivate us to keep putting out good content out there. But yeah, should you incorporate or not? What I tell people is, our little guy Colton is 9 years old, right? Colton, who knows if he'll buy real estate one day, and who knows if he'll want Mel and I's portfolio one day, right? We're a blended family. Mel has 2 daughters from a previous marriage. The goal is to leave the portfolio behind to them, but what if they're not interested, right? So what if we, what do we want to do someday with it? And that's stuff that we've that we prepared ourselves for, and we've structured ourselves properly for. But if Colton came to me, when he's 18 or 20 years old, hey, Dad, I want to start buying real estate in Canada or in the US or wherever it is, 99.9%, if he wanted to grow a portfolio, if he's like, Dad, I want to buy income properties like you, and I want to scale, I would 99.99% say, you know what? where you're in Canada here, let's start off with corporations. Or, hey, you're in the US, let's start off with LLCs. That's the advice that I would give due to my experience from my good and bad and the ugly that I've had to go through with incorporating after the fact and all that. If he said, hey, Dad, I want to buy one property, maybe I'll live in it and then that's it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm not suggesting that. But if he wants to build a portfolio, I'm most likely what's the word I want to use? I'm most likely advising him. He's still going to talk to the lawyers and the accountants, right? Because I'm neither of those. But I'm like, yeah, you know what? If you want to scale, you're probably going to want to incorporate, right? And it's going to be a little bit more now, but you're going to save a lot of money down the road. We actually have another YouTube video on that. Mel and I had 18 properties at one point in our own name. It cost us, I think, just over or just under $400,000, that mistake alone. And that's why coaching and mentoring is so important. So yeah, anyway, check out that video if you want to. More importantly, check out our live tomorrow at noon. If you check it out and you sign up, you will get Mel and I's free ebook, which is an Amazon bestseller. Okay. We would put property in LLC. Blake, okay, cool. Blake, are you in the US? Because you're saying LLC. I just want to make sure if you're in the US or not. When you do a deal and you know the numbers aren't right or don't make sense. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so that happens all the time. I'll look at a deal and it doesn't make sense and I walk away. And that's what we teach a lot of our members and our students as well is, and okay, let's put this into perspective. And I want to talk a little bit of mindset too as well with all the real estate investors that are here, hopefully that are following us, because that's what we're all about is real estate investing. Do I look at more deals that don't make sense than deals that make sense? Or do I find more deals that don't make sense than make sense? 100%. And anyone who's in the Action family, anyone who's doing any coaching and mentoring with Mel and I, anyone that is using the cash flow analysis matrix tool that we've had trademarked, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're definitely going to see a lot more deals that don't make sense than do make sense. Okay. And that's probably an understatement. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is just the reality of being a real estate investor. There's a lot of deals posted everywhere, right? And I'm not picking on the MLS. So you could be finding deals on the MLS. I still find deals on the MLS. I don't think there's anything wrong with finding deals on the MLS. I know there's a lot of my colleagues as coaches and mentors who disagree with it. Over the years, I've bought a lot of deals that are listed on the MLS that someone missed. So again, I'm just saying, don't discount any platforms. Okay. So whether you're getting it from a wholesaler, some people think, oh, wholesalers, it must be a good deal. No. Like every deal that you look at, or if it's off market or a pocket listing, like you have to run the numbers. And this is where the reps come in, right? So as a real estate investor, can it be daunting sometimes to run a lot of deals? Yeah, it can be. Are you sometimes bummed out that, a deal that you thought was going to work doesn't? Yeah, that happens. Can you get frustrated or all of the above, right? Running deals, you're not going to always hit home runs. And that's why you don't do those deals, right? Someone else will buy and someone else will go through the hiccups and the headaches with it and will decide down the road, I probably shouldn't have bought this deal. But that shouldn't be you. That's not your problem. It's a repetition. It's a consistency thing. It's always looking at deals all the time. And I'll go back to something that one of my coaches said. And Mel and I have 4 coaches, right? We have mindset coaches, we have real estate coaches, life coaches, business, anyway, all that stuff, right? Because we're not perfect and we're always looking at learning and growing and all of that. And if ever you pick a coach or a mentor, make sure that they have coaches and mentors, right? That would worry me. If you pick a coach or mentor that doesn't have coaches or mentor, that tells me they think they know everything, and no one can know everything. I'm blatantly aware that I do not know everything. That's why I have coaches and mentors who make me, save me mistakes and make me more money than what I pay them, because they've been there, done that. But something, where was that question again? Oh, in regards to mindset. So this is the thing. One of my coaches was saying to me, and I love this, and you'll either love this or hate this, or you'll either be inspired or bummed out. And I want you to choose your reaction to this, because I want you to choose what you're going to do with this type of saying, right? And it might say where you're at in your investor journey, right? If you're a consumer, if you're an investor mindset, that type of thing, or if you're, half glass half full, glass half empty. So what they were saying is things are hard, right? If you think things are just going to be a walk in the park and easy and all that, it's not the reality. And some people will think, well, if it's hard, I don't want to do it. Okay, well, some of the best things in life are hard, right? The things that are easy, they don't necessarily give you the best return or the best feeling or the best outcome, right? Because they're easy. No one wants to, or everyone does that. And there's not really a fruit at the end of the, a reward at the end of the whatever tunnel journey, whatever you want to call it here. So, what I'm getting at here is, let's say you're guns a-blazing, you want to do something, you want to grow a real estate portfolio, which is again what Mel and I help people do. Is it going to be hard? Yes, to a certain extent, right? There's still going to be work put into it. You're still going to have to do X, Y, Z, look at deals, create your entities, talk to the pros, look at a lot of different things, right? You'll have some roadblocks, you'll have some hurdles, but it is what it is. Like if you want to grow a portfolio and scale, it will be hard to a certain degree. Now you can mitigate a lot of risks and things like that. Um, and that's what Mel and I teach, right? So is it still going to be work? 100%. Right? You're not escaping work ever. Like take that out of the equation. Let's say you continue to do nothing or the same thing. Let's say you continue to do the exact same thing, which you know what? Oh my gosh, scaling sounds hard. And you know what? I don't want to do that because I want the easy route. Doing nothing, or sorry, doing the same thing you're doing is still hard. That's why you're thinking of getting into real estate or scaling a portfolio in the first place. So staying stagnant, right? Growth is hard. Stagnant is hard as well because you're not getting ahead. You're not doing the things you want. You're creating the memories that you want to either. That is also hard as well. So again, both options here are hard. Which one would you rather? The hard that scales or the hard that stays the same? The third one is actually scaling back, or not scaling back, but actually retracting, shrinking, right? If you have a business that shrinks instead of a business that's growing, if your portfolio is shrinking, if your income is shrinking, if your purpose in life is shrinking, if your enjoyment in life is shrinking, you can't tell me that's not hard either. You know what I mean? So again, I love that my coaches talk to me about these different things, is because there's hard in anything we do. And you picking which one you're okay with uh, is something that needs to happen. Now, again, when you pick the hard that you're okay with, you also have to look ahead. Once I've picked the hard that I'm okay with, know that hard will have a also what's the word I'm looking for? The final result will be a certain way too, right? So let's say you grow a portfolio and it's hard, but at the end of the day, you have multiple assets, multiple income properties. Oh, you're like, oh yeah, okay, that was difficult, but I still went through it. I'm still good. I learned a lot. What's the result? You've gone through, you have income producing assets, you're riding the market appreciation, your portfolio is growing. You're dealing with other problems. You're dealing with maybe, and I'll talk about problems. I want to talk about that after. Maybe you're dealing with different problems. Like, okay, now I've invested in another province, another state, another country, and property management. I had a one that I had to kiss a frog, and I'm finding a new one. Is that a problem? Yes. Okay, but you can solve that. I mean, I think it can be solved. So again, which problem would you rather have? Scaling a portfolio and having to deal with some things, or let's pick option 2, doing absolutely nothing, right? And then waking up 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road and going, oh man, like I'm in the same spot I was. A decade went by. I'm a decade older. I did not buy more real estate like I said I would. I did not do XYZ with the people I love. I'm not any closer to retiring, right? Do not trust or do not count on the government being there to help you with retirement. I look at what people tell me what they're getting from their, anyway, that is going to be hard too, because now you're going to have the regret of, oh my gosh, I should have done this, right? So that is also hard too. And the result of doing nothing or staying the same is that nothing changes, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. The third option that we're going through, right? So not scaling, not staying the same. If you've actually regressed where you're like, oh my gosh, 5 years ago, I was actually in a better spot. What happened? That is also very hard as well. So you're now even worse off than you were. You're now even having to climb, like, when people go to the casino and they lose money and now you lost $100. Well, now, if you're spending money, you gotta make $100 just to break even again. And then to make a profit, you got to make $200. So people that choose that third option and regress and shrink and lose time and all that, they now not only have to work even harder, which is hard to get to that same spot they were. They now have to work even harder to also get ahead. So pick your heart is what I'm getting at. I would much rather work my what off. Is it difficult sometimes? Yes. But have a result at the end, like real estate, a portfolio that, I can leave to my kids, Mel and all that, and vice versa to our community, and give back as we, today we decided to sponsor our little guys hockey team, right? Why can we do that? This summer we sponsored a bunch of his soccer team or his summer hockey teams. We're able to do that because of real estate. Literally, it's because of that, because of the choices we made a while ago. Now, the other thing too is I want to motivate you here, because will there be issues? Will there be problems? Yes, but it doesn't matter, because you become better every single day, every single time you deal with something. Like I look back, at some of the problems that I had 2 years ago with my portfolio. I don't know, let's make it up. Or 5 years ago, whatever, 5 years ago. There was issues with tenants, or if there's issues with payment of rent, or if there's issues with financing, or whatever it is, okay? Taking too long, or didn't refinancing come in. 5 years later down the road, am I still dealing with that type of stuff? Yes, because real estate portfolios have ebb and flows and ups and downs, and dealing with, humans in any capacity, there's going to be some ebb and flow. So now 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, those problems that I might have thought were problems back then, I'm used to it now. I could solve them in my sleep. And what I'm getting at is, you guys, you build a tolerance, and you're the problems you have 2 years ago, you're looking at them now going like, oh yeah, remember when I thought screening tenants was difficult? Yeah, now the process I could do in my sleep. Remember when I thought going through a refinance process and providing the documents was tough? Now I've got a template. I send it to them within 5 minutes. So think about 2 years down the road or 5 years down the road, where you'll just be that much more resilient. And the problems that you think right now, like think of the big things in your life right now, like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do X, Y, Z. So let's say, for example, thanks, champ. Think, for example, you're welcome, Mike. Think, for example, the things that are hard for you right now. Okay, so let's say everyone said earlier, it's knowledge, resources, money. This is why Mel and I created the Action Family Mentoring Program. This is why I'm going live tomorrow at noon for probably over an hour, analyzing 4 to 5 deals with you guys and going over 3 to 4 different types of creative financing. Because whatever you're finding difficult right now, whether it's raising capital, finding deals, how to, the resources and the contacts that you need, all of that stuff that you're like, Dave, that's tough. I don't know how to do this. A year down the road, 2 years down the road, you're going to look back going, remember when I thought finding a deal was hard? Remember when I thought analyzing the numbers to make sure the ratios were hard? Like now I can do that in my sleep. And then 2 years after that, whatever issue you're dealing with now, if you have the right training, coaching, and mentoring and mindset, this will be easy down the road as well, if you take the route of growth, right? And growing your portfolio. So I see a lot of questions. Hello. Yeah, absolutely true. Okay, good. I like that a lot of people here are saying, you know what, the mindset stuff is good. Picking your heart is good. I like the audience that we have here, the crowd that we have. It's people that are glass half full, right? Not glass half empty. How does the program work? Yes, 100%. So the Action Family what I love about this, okay, Mel and I almost died in 2018. We had a terrible car crash. If you've been following us for a while, outside of Toronto, we almost died. I'm not sugarcoating it. We were going over 120 kilometers. I wasn't driving. Mel wasn't driving. It was a shuttle. Transport hit us. We hit the car hit us. We hit the guardrail and flipped. We almost, even the police officers were saying, you guys shouldn't have walked away from that. Like most people, this is the coroner showing up, right? We literally decided then that we wanted to create something that we wish we had when we started. And I'll go over briefly. Our Action Family Mentoring Program is knowledge and resources that you need to be a real estate investor. Part 2, it's the coaching and mentoring that you need for, everyday stuff when you have, let's dive into your micro situation so that we can help you. And also the introductions to the pros. Pillar number 3 is basically the network, right? The large networking community that you need, because what do you need more than real estate? You need people. People have what you want, whether it's deals, whether it's contacts, whether it is resources like private funds and things like that. Okay. Do we get reply tomorrow? What's that, invest? What do you mean by that? Sorry. Do we get reply tomorrow? You're welcome, Mike. Yeah, let me know what that means, invest. Or DM the team later if you have questions, guys. Again, don't be shy. But yeah, the agreement for sale deal that Anita closed, the video releases. Team, can you let me know if it releases Thursday or Friday? But again, it doesn't matter. You should be subscribed to our YouTube channel anyway. We have over 57,000 subscribers now, which is amazing. We released a video every single week. Last week was actually the agreement for sale that Mel and I did in Edmonton. If you know Edmonton, it's just off of White Street. This week released is another agreement for sale deal, which is basically like a wrap mortgage in the US. Another agreement for sale deal. This one is in like, if you know the Edmonton area, it's like Leduc area where the airport is. Now think about this. Okay, this is going to blow your mind. I want people to be interactive here. I bought, you guys might already know because I've been saying it. I was going to say I bought mine for like $350,000 or $55,000. Yeah, $355. No, whatever ish. How much of a down payment do you think I put? YouTube videos on Friday. Boom. Make sure you check out the YouTube video on Friday, but subscribe right now. If you're watching me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it is, make sure you do subscribe. Everything is always at Investor Mel Dave. Okay. So yeah, what do you think? Well, you know what? Let's talk about Anita's deal. She bought it for over $500,000. Okay, a 500, and I can't remember the exact number, but a $500,000 property investment, income property. How much do you think the down payment was on the agreement for sale? Someone here said 100K. Anybody else? 100K? What is that? What does someone else say? Who wants to pipe in? Oh yes, tomorrow you do get a replay. If you register for the webinar and you can't make it, you get the replay and you still get the book. Someone said 200K. No. Okay. So I know where people are going with the math here. People typically go, okay, $500,000. It's an income property, so I probably have to come up with 20%, right? 1/5. So 80K. Someone said 80K. So yeah, 80K, 100K. So people are probably saying, 20%, which is $100,000 or 500. No, this agreement for sale deal, she had to come up with less than $30,000. 50K, Mike, good guess as well. Less than 30K, guys. And that's the video that's released on Friday. And Mel and I had to come up with like $23,000 for our deal of like 355K. Go check it out on YouTube. We do a walkthrough. Actually, we show you how things are not always perfect, right? Because we're walking through and some things were, there was deficiencies or whatever. And we actually negotiated that into the purchase price as well. So go check it out. But yes, tomorrow I will be going live. I will be exactly here. Well, I decided to come in the studio today. I don't know why I came in the studio. I might be at my house, might be at the lake house. We'll see what tomorrow brings, where I want to go live. But we'll figure it out. At the end of the day, guys, if you are interested, DM us the word live and we'll send you the link. Even if you can't make it, you will get the replay. You will get our free Amazon best-selling ebook, right? Mel and I have 2 Amazon best-selling books. Mel has 3. There was a woman's one that I was not invited to, but I'll have to do one on my own so I can get 3 just like Mel. But yeah, let us know if you have any questions. I love that you guys were guessing at the purchase at the downstrokes as well. To really reiterate today, creative financing is a way that you can scale your portfolio, right? Let's talk about joint ventures as well, joint venture partners. Now, I have a lot of friends that do JVs. People make very good money with JVs, with joint ventures. Our preference is to do without joint ventures, okay? And that's just the way Mel and I prefer it. I like keeping 100% of ownership, right? Maybe I'm selfish that way. I want to keep 100% of the ownership. Decision making. I want to decide what we do with the asset and when we do it. Cash flow. I want to keep all the cash flow. I want to keep all the money from the refinances. So that's what we specialize in, is solely owning the assets using other people's money. Okay, that's Mel and I's biggest thing. And we're doing it in 5 different countries, right? So Canada, US, Costa Rica, Mexico, and Dominican Republic. Now, I want to give you an example. Because you might say, Dave, and actually I give you examples tomorrow in the hundreds of thousands of dollars of how much it would have cost us if we had JVs. But I'll just give you this example. Mel's daughter started college last year in September. And some of you might have heard this, and you're like, yeah, Dave, I've heard this, but hear me out. What was I going to say? Oh, my little guy just messaged me. I'll read that after. Mel, we're a blended family, right? So Mel and her ex are paying for her oldest, whatever, daughter to go to college. And for our portion, we knew real estate would pay for it, right? We knew real estate would pay a portion for her. Now, think about this. Last August, right, interest rates were higher. Last August, we decided to refinance one of our assets at a higher interest rate. So we made less cash flow every single month. And we took that money and put it towards schooling and housing and food and whatever else, comes. You guys know if you had a kid go to school. So we put it all towards that. Now think about this. Mel and I did it. We're like, yeah, we're totally. Oh, car scared me. I thought I was going to hit the building. We were totally cool with it. It's our asset. We did it. We know we refinanced it for 2 years. We'll do it again in another 2 years and get the interest rates lower because we wanted to do that for our kids, right? Now think about me trying to explain that to a joint venture partner. Imagine me going, hey, joint venture partner, I want to refinance our building when interest rates are at an all-time high. I want to keep all of the money and we're going to make less cash flow. Imagine me having that conversation with the joint venture partner. They would go, no, no, no. What is wrong? And again, Mel and I made this decision as a couple. We knew as a business, right, this corporation could sustain a little bit less cash flow because the pocket of money, anyway, and it owed us some money personally. And I'm not going to get into the accounting stuff, but that's the beauty of it is it's our building. We don't have to ask permission. We don't have to go to the board of directors and say, hey, can we do this or hold a meeting or go? It's Mel and I went, yep. Okay, cool. Let's do it. That's what we said we would do. From the starting with real estate. Like that is the power of solely owning your assets. Or think about this. I don't know. Let's say a family member of mine is in need or something happens. A loved one, a family member of mine is in need and I want to refinance a building to help them out through a tough time or whatever it is, or I sell it to liquidate it for funds. Like I don't have to ask anyone. I can just do that. So if you're thinking in your life, I want to be able to help people. I want to be able to at the forefront, help myself and structure myself up properly and have assets and have cash flow and have equity to be able to help my kids or whatever it is down the road. Honestly, first step, I will see you tomorrow at noon at the webinar. Again, if that's Eastern time, noon Eastern time. And if you cannot make it, it does not matter. You will get the recording. You can watch it after. You still get our Amazon best-selling book as well just for signing up, okay? Megasonic Mike, me too, no JV. Smith, how can we find private lenders? Oh my gosh, Smith, once you understand how to do this, there's money everywhere and there's deals everywhere, in my opinion, okay? It's just how to do it. And honestly, like sometimes I'll see people, they do it and like, okay, Dave, I looked today and I can't find anything. Okay, that's today. That's August 14th. What are you doing August 15th? What are you doing August 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, right? It's a continuous, if you want to grow your it's like working out. You don't go to the gym once and go, okay, I'm shredded, I'm ripped, I'm jacked now. No, it's right. You got to keep going to the gym. You got to keep feeding your body properly, right? Real estate, you got to feed your mind properly. You got to look at deals. It's the same thing. There is a process. There is a system. It's not I'm not here to promise you that you're going to be a millionaire overnight. No, 100% no. It is real estate, in my opinion, is a marathon. Okay. I want my kids to have deals for their future. So I'm doing what I need to do now to set them up down the road and set up Mel and I right now, right? It wasn't just, hey, I bought a building and now I'm quitting my job. No, it's unless it was a huge building with huge cash flow, but it's just not the way it works. I want to be real with you guys as well. It's a marathon. It's a process, right? It's getting through that. Benjamin, Mel and Dave are the best. You changed my life for the first time. Your channel popped up on YouTube. Hey, I'll take that, Benjamin. Oh my gosh, man. Let me read that again. Mel and Dave are the best. Okay, what did it say? You changed my life the first time your channel popped up on YouTube. That's amazing, Benjamin. So thank you so much for saying that. If you're not following us on YouTube, like Benjamin is, why not? Why not? Yeah, appreciate that, man. Cool, Benjamin. That's a super nice message. I'll make sure to reiterate that to Mel. Um, okay, Benjamin, you've just opened up another, what's the word? Can of worms, whatever. We'll say that. People will ask us all the time, Mel, Dave, you guys have a real estate portfolio. Why would you bother helping other people? Like, why would you want to do that? And I used to think the exact same thing. And it is a great question. And it is something that comes up all the time. So if you're thinking, hey, Dave, you've got a portfolio, why are you talking to me here live on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever else I'm live? I don't know if we're live on TikTok or not. No, if it was TikTok, I'd be getting some chirping about my bald. TikTok loves to chirp me that I don't have any hair. But anyway, that's TikTok. The reason why Mel and I do this, okay, yes, we have our real estate portfolio. We're never going to stop buying real estate. Mel and I are both very addicted to buying real estate. I love real estate. But why do we do coaching and mentoring? Why do we help people? Okay. How do I explain this? When we had the car crash and we realized that even our kids didn't know how we were doing this, we were like, why are we being so, I'll call this out, selfish? Why are we being scarcity mindset? Why are we being selfish? If we have, I get goosebumps when I talk about it. Oof. Sorry, I get goosebumps all the time. I get pumped when I talk about real estate, but we have something that works. I was a firefighter. Mel worked at our local college. We're not rocket scientists, but we have a process that works because we've gone through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Why are we not helping people? There's so much real estate out there. There's so much money out there. As long as someone is willing to put the work in, we can give you all the knowledge and resource and everything. As long as someone is willing to put the work in and go ahead and do it, then we can definitely help them. Okay. Now, that being said, the other cool thing in life, again, I'll go back to one of our life coaches and one of our mindset coaches. There is different buckets in life. Okay, so let's just name a couple buckets. People will always say money. Okay, so money bucket right here. Okay, cool. Money, health, relationships. Mel and I have a wheel that we do every single month. How's our relationship? How's our family, friends? How's our income? How's our contributions to the community? How is our legacy? How's our whatever? You can put whatever you want on the wheel. Okay, but on our wheel, giving back and helping people. Like, think about this. Like Benjamin just said, who is that? Say hi to Town Giselle for me from, hey, Mike. I think that's a cousin. I will say hi to Town Giselle. Giselle's my grandma. I love how my family finds me on social media. Mike, we haven't talked in forever. Anyway, I'll say hi to grandma for you. I love lives. You never know what's going to pop up. Okay, what was I saying? Giving back to people is an entire different bucket. When Mel and I, so like, think about this. Benjamin, we didn't stage this. Benjamin just reached out saying, hey, you changed my life. That fills a bucket of like, I'm grateful that I get to do that. That fills a bucket of helping people. When Patty and Adela, when Patty retired her mom, Adela, she's like, thank you, Mel and Dave. Thank you, Action. I get goosebumps just talking about it. That's a whole other bucket. Mel and I are able to help people do that. Jason, I remember him saying he took his kids to Disney World for the first time. That fills a bucket for Mel and I that we're able to help people. Matt retired his job. Seth and Jen, I think Seth retired his job, right? People are saying I'm helping, I'm making sure that my family does this, or we're able to buy a vacation property and go on vacation. Like, that's the real reason Mel and I do it, is at the end of the day, when I'm 80, 90 years old and I look back, and I want you to think about this, when you're 80, 90 years old, whatever, hopefully we make it to that age. When we look back on our lives, like, what do you want to be able to say? Do you want to be able to say, hey, you know what? I took a risk. I did real estate. I was able to help people. You know what? I had equity and appreciation and cash flow that helped my family do X, Y, Z, or I'm able to leave it to my kids and that's going to set them up for whatever. That's what I want. I want to look back and say, I set my kids up with generational wealth with the portfolio. I was able to help, we've helped over 2,100 members now get on the real estate journey. We were able to do X, Y, Z, travel and do all of that. So I want you to ask yourself that too, right? When you are 80 or 9 years old and you're looking back on your life, do you want to go, I should have jumped into real estate. Why didn't I ever do that? Like, look, like it was so silly. Like, why didn't I do that? Do you want to look back saying, I'm not able to help my family, or I never did that? Like, I honestly, that fear, that thought alone, scares me. Like to think of being older and on my deathbed or on my front porch in my rocking chair. Hopefully Mel's still with me and we're doing it together. Um, those fears of not doing something scares me more than the unknown of doing new things. So, and if you're in alignment with me and you're thinking, you know what, I don't want to be 80, 90 or on my deathbed going, these are all the things I should have done and I could have been this person. Anyway, Mel and I can help you on the real estate side anyway. Please join our webinar. I'm going live tomorrow at 12 Eastern time. I'll show you how we've helped multiple people do this. Okay. Hopefully this lights a fire under your what. Even if you can't attend tomorrow, we will have a replay so you can watch it. If you register, you do get our Amazon best-selling ebook. I just want to help as many people as possible. Okay. So again, thank you so much for tuning in, whether you're live right now, whether you're watching this after the fact. Today was fun. We talked about agreement for sale, creative financing, generational wealth, mindset. That's why I love coming on these lives. So every single week, I try and come on every Wednesday at noon Eastern time to chat about things. So if this is your first time, just know that 99.9% I will be here next week as well. God willing, obviously, knock on wood, traveling this weekend. But yeah, don't want any of that. But yeah, so if you're not following us on all social media platforms, please give us a like. Please follow us. YouTube will release a video every single week. And on all social media platforms, I come live most weeks, Wednesday at noon. So again, appreciate you guys. Thank you for tuning in. See you on the live tomorrow. See you in 23 hours from now, right here, right back here. We're going to talk. I'm going to be sharing my screen. And you're welcome, champ. We're going to be sharing my screen, showing you some deals and doing it all over in a different way. Okay. Awesome.